Hi guys, welcome back to Tech with Tata. In today's episode, I'm going to be running through several different auditing services to see the accessibility of your desired website. So I myself go to a lot of restaurants. Every time I travel to a new place, I always want to make sure that I'm going to the best restaurant in the area. I'm kind of a food snob. So one website that I use a lot is Yelp. So again, if you're not familiar with Yelp, Yelp just basically gives you the opportunity to put in your location and the type of restaurant you're looking for. So I can put in, for example, I'm from Boston, Boston, Mass. I can put something like Italian, and Yelp is gonna do its best to find the best Italian restaurants in the Boston area. So again, I use this website a lot, and it's a pretty common website that a lot of people use. But using a couple different sources, I'm gonna be showing you guys how to audit this website and its accessibility, and double check to see how well it's created. So the first website I'm going to be going over is this website called Wave. It's a Chrome extension. So I've already actually run this on Chrome for Yelp.com. And right here, you can see that they detect 59 errors, contrast errors, alerts, features, structural elements, etc. But the important thing is to go into the details. It will then show you where missing alternative text is for different images. So for example, like right up here, there's this little graphic, and it's saying that there's no alternative text for accessibility. Also, there's all these linked images missing, alternative texts. Again, Wave is one of the many websites that kind of just gives you that brief rundown and showing you how accessible your website is. And I think all these tools are relatively fascinating. Again, I didn't even really think about accessibility being a non-tech major. I've talked about that a lot in this channel, but there's just a lot of things you don't necessarily infer that are important, and accessibility is definitely one of them. Whether it be on a phone or on your computer, you want to be able to make your websites as user-friendly as possible, and these extensions do a really good job of evaluating that. This next service I use is called web.dev, and very similarly to the other service that we just reviewed, it gives an in-depth response on performance, accessibility, best practices, and SEO on the accessibility of Yelp.com, and then you can scroll down and kind of see where they think the most highly impacted issues lie. So here it says deferring off-screen images and removed unused JavaScript. You can also view a report of these findings in a more intricate, detailed way, and it actually links it to a Lighthouse report, which is going to be the next service I talk about. So again, when I want to use this final service called Lighthouse, all I'm going to do is click on this little lighthouse in the corner that I downloaded through the Chrome extensions and generate a report. It'll take a second, but then eventually it's going to pop up with a detailed, intricate layout of accessibility issues found within Yelp.com. So I'm going to let this load and pause and come back. You can see this uses the same type of metrics as web.dev, except a little bit more intricately. It shows that performance is rated to 39. So performance is usually the thing that's lowest on websites. And then it again shows you things like time to interactive, total blocking time, largest contactful paint are some of the top issues. Again, this shows deferring off-screen images as being an issue and serving images in next-gen formats. So again, images and then it gives again, this is very helpful for me as a non-tech major. If you click on any of the tabs on Lighthouse, which is my preferred auditing website, it gives you the exact rundown of why it's not up to date. And I really like too how within the Lighthouse service, you can see little screenshots of where they're getting this information from on Yelp's website, which I think is fascinating. Again, remove unused JavaScript, removing unused JavaScript to reduce bytes consumed by network activity. That kind of gives you a brief rundown of just a translation somewhat for people who aren't as familiar with maybe what removed unused JavaScript is. So yeah, those are three really helpful auditing services that you can use to evaluate some of your most used websites. I know, again, for me, Yelp is one that I use regularly, but I think that all of these services can kind of help you in web development, where if you're developing a website or you have an idea of a website that you want to develop, making sure that you run these auditing processes through that website that you're trying to create to make sure that you're making the most accessible page for all of your users. And with that, that kind of concludes this week's episode. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll link all the services down below that I use in today's video. Thanks so much.